So I was just over here pumping some iron, and I got so many notifications on my phone that by popular demand, like 2 people said that they wanted to see the Spax Bits versus the name brand bits like the Makita Impact Gold. So what I've got all the way on the left are 2 Spax Bits, and then there is 1 regular non-impact DeWalt bit, and then all the way on the right here, is the Makita Impact Gold. We're going to be comparing the fitment of the heads and how they're a little bit different. The Spax ones are a little bit different, and we'll get to that in a minute. But we're also going to be doing some fun stuff, and that is the destruction test. Now we are going to push these bits until they either strip, twist, snap, break. We're going to use these bits until they can't be used anymore, kind of like your mama. Now the Makita Impact Gold bit is supposedly the top of the line, so it might be a little hard to break its spine, but I think we will find a way.
I was wondering what would break first, your spirit or your body.
For the destruction test, we're going to hit it with the Makita brushless 3-speed impact driver, a very powerful tool, but if that doesn't work, well, we'll see if 1,100 foot-pounds will change his mind. Guess I can put my weights away now. So much muscle. I'm Batman. So here is the Spax number 2 bit, Phillips equivalent, I guess. It's not exactly a Phillips bit. It's very similar, but if you look very closely, you can see the ridges, those little nubs in there. Here's a real Phillips number 2, and as you can see, it does not have those nubs in there. And here they are right next to each other. As you can see, the Spax has the little nubs right there. And with the Torx, it has that recessed circle on it, whereas a regular Torx does not. Now in my Makita Impact X versus Milwaukee Shockwave bit test, I asked the viewers what a T20 Plus was, and everyone was very helpful in telling me that it has that recessed circular piece and the lobes are more rounded. So thank you for everyone who answered that. Now looking at the Spax Phillips bit, you can see it has those ledges. And here it is side by side with a regular Phillips number 2. And the T20 Plus bit, you can see the bit has that circular region protruded out from it. So here's the Spax screw and the Spax bit to go along with it. As you can see, it fits right in. It's pretty snug. It holds. Okay, it doesn't hold the screw in. And I think having those little ledges there gives it just a little bit more surface area to bite on as you're turning. And as you can see, here is the regular Phillips number 2 bit. It fits right in. It goes in snugly and it doesn't have any problems. Those ledges and protrusions are in the center of the... I don't even know what the hell to call that. The flappy thingies. I'm gonna call it the flappy thingies. It's between 2 flappy thingies on the Phillips bits, so it's actually not touching and doesn't conflict at all with the operation of the Phillips. Similarly with the Torx one, the nub fits right into the hole. It's very snug, no play in it at all. And then a regular Torx 20 bit. If you've seen my Makita Impact X versus Milwaukee Shockwave, you'll know that a regular Torx 20 has quite a bit of wobble in it. And now the part you've all been waiting for, drum roll please. The destruction of these bits. So a couple comments and predictions before we get started with the destruction. These gray bits here are not impact rated, and the gold, Makita Gold, is impact rated. I've always strongly advised that you use impact bits in an impact driver or any sort of impacting tool, and that is because the regular bits are a softer metal and tend to just turn and twist inside whatever you're using to hold the bits. I think these screws will completely break or strip out before the Makita Impact Gold snaps. We'll start off light. We'll go with the Phillips Spax bit with the Spax screw into some hardwood with the impact driver. Alright, now let's see if it comes out. Came out fairly easily, so the Spax bit survived that test. Regular DeWalt Phillips head with the Spax bit. I expect the same results, but let's just find out. A little bit harder to get out. That's just because it's a little bit slippery and it's hard to grab onto with my hands. Doesn't seem to have twisted. Every time I'm driving these screws on, some of you may have noticed, but it is snapping the heads off every time. So now I've got the Spax Phillips bit clamped directly in the vise, and we'll see how much we can put on this without it breaking. Hopefully the bits will break and not the screw itself, but I have a feeling the screw is going to break, even though I put it as far down as possible to avoid the shaft breaking. Impact driver, Spax Phillip bit, Spax screw, full throttle. Yep, snap the head clean off.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows, only time.
So let's try the Spax Torx instead. I'm gonna actually try it on the medium speed setting on the impact driver. Hopefully that'll give us more hits without it just snapping, and we'll get to see the effects better. Nope, still broke. So I found one with a slightly thicker shaft, and we all know that it's not length that matters, but girth.
What does matter is length times diameter plus weight over girth divided by angle of the tip squared, okay?
Oh yeah, it just ate that screw. Okay, the shaft didn't break, but the head just stripped out immediately, and that was with the regular bits. I have to say I'm kind of disappointed in screws in general, but here's a even fatter one. Okay, that just started turning the screw in the vise, so I'm going to tighten it up a little bit. Since the screw isn't breaking or stripping out, I think we can put it up to full power. And now it broke. It's a very clean break. Let's see if it twisted this bit at all. Still comes out okay. Let's try it with a little more mass behind those impacts.
Didn't even get to cross.
Now let's crank it up to high speed. Taking a look at the bit after that, it appears to have slight chunks missing from each of the lobes. And there goes the screw head again. Since none of this is working, you know what? We're putting the bit right in the vise. Hopefully this way it will break off the shaft of the bit and not the shaft of a screw. Well, that was easy. That got what, like 1, maybe 2 pumps in?
That's what she said.
Look at that brake though. So let's try it with the Spax Phillips bit and the impact driver. Wow, so the impact driver wasn't working, it wasn't braking it, so I switched over to the big guns over here, and man, that sent some shards flying. That thing absolutely decimated the Spax bit. It is just in pieces. Now that we've seen how the non-impact bits break, okay, I tightened that one as hard as I possibly could, and it's still finding a way to wiggle out of my vise, and that's because it's just bending the metal of the vise. So I'm gonna go ahead and give the Makita Impact Gold a pass and say it is relatively indestructible. The Impact Gold does have some chips taken out of it. It is pretty much damaged, but it is completely usable still and did not break. Now all of these bits were subject to extreme conditions that you would never put these bits under, but the point was to accelerate a long period of time and to show you what would happen if you use these bits repeatedly for an extended period of time. So I hope you enjoyed the destruction and the video with this beast of an impact wrench. If you liked it, please go ahead and give that thumbs up and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.